All right, so four things to watch for the New York Giants and Detroit Lions joint practices. Now, these are not in any order, but please stay till the very end for bonus features on things to watch for during the practice against the Giants. Now, the first one is Aiden Hutchinson versus the Giants left tackle and right tackle Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal. With Aiden bulking up and knowing the playbook and playing a lot faster now, we need to see if he fares against opponents' offensive tackles. It's one thing to go up against Decker and Sewell. It's a totally different animal practicing against new starting tackles in the National Football League. So, kind of mix it up a little bit. You're going to be fighting against other opponents very soon. So, what better way to have it in joint practice against the New York Giants? Now, the Giants throw a lot of different things offensively with the Brian Dable offense, and also defensively, they throw a lot of different things. So, it's a good test. This is, I think, one of the best tests going into, training camp is these joint practices against the New York Giants. Now, the next one up is the Lions run defense against Saquon Barkley. Now, in Week 11 last season in 2022, the Detroit Lions did battle up Saquon in their 31-18 road victory. So we need to see if we can still contain these prolific running backs and really make opponents one-dimensional. Because once you bottle a run game up and you don't let them loose, well, they're not going to go and try and run it anymore because it doesn't work. Why? If it don't work, you got to fix it. So, they're going to try and shy away from it, so you make them one-dimensional and try and throw. Well, with the upgraded defense, that hopefully should play to our strengths. So, definitely the Lions' run defense is going to be a real key thing in this. Also, if you are getting value to this point, consider clicking that like button as it helps tremendously. And Jason Cabinda. Now, Jason Cabinda is a person that I have to highlight a little bit because I want to see how he does with passes in the flats and on wheel routes. During that Lions-Giants game in Week 11, Cabinda had a lot of drop passes. So, this training camp, he's been catching really about everything thrown his way. So, we need to see if this is not a fluke and this is the real thing for Jason Cabinda. Because if he can show that he's able to catch out the backfield at the fullback position, I think that really solidifies his job on the 53-man roster and really redeem himself from that game since our last outing together, which would be back in Week 11. So, I want to really see if Jason Cabinda can catch out the backfield. He was attempting it last year against the Giants. Let's see if he can redeem himself a little bit. It's a good thing to see. Now, I do think that his job is still mostly solidified, but this will really be like, okay, last year was last year, this year is this year, and he's improved. So, all across the board. So, I do think that he does make the team still, but, this would definitely boost his chances even more. And then the Detroit Lions versus the motion plays and mobile quarterbacks. So, first real test heading into Week 1 of the regular season where the Detroit Lions will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Daniel Jones loves to get out and run the football. Week 11 last year, he was carving out our defense a little bit. So, with healthy bodies and players going into year 2 and just the overall growth of the defense in its entirety, this would be a real great test to see if we are ready to handle a Patrick Mahomes and the defending champs in exactly 1 month today on Thursday Night Football, which I will be live for on this channel. Now, also in Week 11, we was out of position a lot on motion plays. And with the improvements on the defense, this is a real good test to see if our defense has actually made strides going into the right direction and and limit those mistakes. Now, I gotta call you out. And Malcolm Rodriguez if you get your hands on a player or you're in a position to make the tackle, make that tackle. It would have been a no-gainer. Instead, you missed that tackle, and I think it was Matt Breida got the first down. So you got to limit those motion plays. You got to, limit the quarterback getting outside that pocket and possibly trying to hurt you defensively. So you got to make sure you get into those things. And this is a real good test. Like I said, I'm going to continue to say that in these joint practice videos. This is a real good test. The Giants throw a lot of good things at you in multiple ways where, hey, if you struggle in this last year, this is a real good test to see if you do better this year with improvements. So, this is a very good test. The Giants are going to be a team that, hey, they're going to be disruptive. And what better way to counter that than being even more disruptive for our Detroit Lions. Now, if you are getting still value up to this point, consider subscribing. And let's grow this One Pride Nation on this channel. Definitely appreciated. Now for the bonus content. Brian Branch, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, and all the rookies and undrafted guys. Or guys that are, brought in from free agency or, brought in from different leagues like the USFL players, the XFL players, things of that nature. This is a real good chance to finally see real opponents. I mean, this is the first time they're going to go up against real NFL opponents, not just their teammates in the NFL. No, they're an actual real team in a different jersey. So this definitely does help these guys, as they're trying to fight for a roster spot and put their name off that chalkboard on cut day. This is a real true test going into our first preseason game as well on Friday, which again, like I said earlier, I will be live on this channel for. And Brian Branch has done a phenomenal job up to this point. Let's see if, once you kind of practice against a person day in, day out, you learn their tendencies. So this would be a real good chance for Brian Branch even to, hey, I'm on the second unit. Let me see if I can crack some starting minutes. I mean, this is a real good chance because, again, this is not a team that's wearing the same jersey as you, just a different color. No, this is a real opponent from a different city that wants to rip your head off, sort of say. So, Brian Branch got a good opportunity. Jack Campbell has a good opportunity. Like I said, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, a couple other guys, our kicking battle also. That's another good competition. I always said that it's going to be decided in, on preseason games, but this is either it could go one of two ways. The first way, you can find yourself, putting your name ahead of another opponent. So say, because we're in a battle with Patterson and also John Parker Romo. So Riley could say put himself ahead of John Parker in these joint practices, or vice versa. John Parker could also put his name ahead of Riley, and then preseason just run away with it. But this is a good chance for a lot of these camp competitions to really solidify itself out, and really fight for a roster spot and tell these coaches without telling these coaches. By putting the stuff on tape, Julian Okwara, you got to put this stuff on tape. Hey, I belong on this team, coach, without telling coach, hey, I belong on this team. Because people don't care what you say. People care what you do on that practice field. So this is a real good opportunity for all of our guys to really get some great work in. And, I can't wait. Now, I will be there on the 9th. So if you are there on the 9th during joint practices, find me, say what's up. Love to shake your hand and say what's up. And, maybe we could take a picture. I could post you on my community tab and really be with the fans. So, that's what this channel is really about. But Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. What are your key things to look for during these joint practices? Am I far off? Am I on the right track? Let me know. I'd love to hear your opinions on it. With that being said, y'all already know what to do. We are trying to grow this community. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video because grit don't quit. One pride, baby. Peace. Hey, tomorrow's joint practice. Today's their last day off. So let's see some good competition against real opponents.